There was a moment, a quiet, unsettling one, when Aaron realized he'd been talking too much. Not that she said anything. The woman sitting across the dinner table just nodded, smiled politely, and glanced away a little too often. Her body was there, but her attention, gone. And that's when it hit him. He wasn't connecting. He was performing. He'd rehearsed what to say. He thought confidence was in how quickly he could respond, how much he could impress her, how charming he sounded. But the longer he spoke, the more distant she became. It wasn't new. Aaron had done this before. Fill the space, prove your worth, win her over. But that night, he didn't feel powerful. He felt hollow. Now let me tell you about Elijah. Elijah's the guy who walks into a room and says almost nothing for the first 10 minutes. He watches, he listens, and when he does speak, it's not loud. It's precise. People lean in, not because they want to hear his volume, but because they respect his silence. He doesn't throw compliments like darts, hoping one hits the mark. He doesn't race to respond the second someone finishes a sentence. And he doesn't rush to fill a silence because he's not uncomfortable with it. He knows silence isn't weakness, it's power. Here's what most men get wrong. They think connection is about talking more. But high-value men like Elijah, know it's not about volume. It's about weight. There's something magnetic about a man who doesn't try to be impressive. A man who doesn't show off but shows up. A man who doesn't need to be liked to feel whole. Women don't just hear Elijah, they feel him. They replay his words not because they were poetic, but because they were real, measured, intentional. You see, high-value men don't talk to women like they're trying to win something. They're not looking for applause. They're not pitching a character. They already know who they are. And when you're clear on who you are, you don't chase validation. You invite respect. Let's zoom out. Why do most men stumble here? Because from a young age, we're told that attention equals value. That if a woman laughs, compliments you, flirts back, you've won. So we become entertainers. We become explainers. We become men who seek permission to feel worthy. That's backward. Women don't fall for performance. They fall for presence. Not the guy who's loudest in the room, but the one who's not afraid to let silence stretch a little longer. Not the one who says, "Let me tell you about me," but the one who says, "Tell me about you," and means it. Aaron didn't understand this until he lost someone who really mattered. She was the first woman who challenged him. She didn't swoon at his stories. She didn't fall for his charm. She simply asked, "Do you always talk this much? Or are you just nervous?" That shook him, because she was right. He was nervous. Nervous that if he didn't keep her entertained, she'd leave. Nervous that if he paused too long, she'd find him boring. Nervous that being himself wasn't enough. That was the turning point. He stopped trying to be interesting and started becoming interested, deeply, genuinely, quietly. He started asking better questions. Not small talk, not "what's your favorite color?" but questions with weight, questions that made her think. And when she answered, he listened without jumping in to respond. He let her words breathe. He let her take up space. That's when the shift happened. For the first time, she looked at him not with curiosity, but with respect. Not because he said something brilliant, but because he created a space where she could feel brilliant. And here's what most men miss. You don't win a woman over by trying to impress her. You win her over by being the kind of man she feels safe being herself around. That doesn't mean being passive. It means being solid, grounded. It means having the courage to speak less and mean more. Let's break it down further. Here's how high-value men talk to women. They pause before speaking. They don't rush. They process. That pause tells her, "I value what I say enough to think before I speak." They ask questions without angling for an outcome. They're not baiting her for attraction. They're curious, without agenda. They speak in statements, not apologies. They don't soften their truth to be liked, but they're also not rude. They're calm, clear, and kind. They aren't afraid of silence. Silence isn't a gap, it's a tool. Letting things sit builds trust and tension, in a good way. They don't seek agreement. They're okay being disagreed with, because validation isn't their currency. Integrity is. Now let's challenge you. The next time you're in a conversation with a woman, ask yourself, are you reacting or responding? Are you performing or being? Are you trying to win her or trying to know her? Because when your goal is to win, you act out of fear. When your goal is to know, you act out of calm. And women feel that difference immediately. The truth is, most men over-explain because they doubt their value. High-value men don't explain, they express. There's no look at me, just here I am. And when you speak from that place, from presence, from stillness, she doesn't just listen, she remembers. Not because you said the right thing, but because you made her feel something rare, peace in your presence. So the next time you feel the urge to fill the silence, don't. The next time you want to impress, pause. And the next time you want to be heard, speak less, mean more. Because at the end of the day, she won't remember your jokes. She won't remember how clever you sounded. She'll remember how grounded you were, how clear, how calm. That's the language of high-value men. And when you speak it, women don't just love you. They respect you.